Hello, this is Vance, and this is Wednesday, November the 16th, 2016. And these are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. Well, as promised yesterday, I said I'd start to review the trades and try to do that today. Today was kind of a different kind of day. We had the DOA report out at 10:30. There's things that are out there in the global marketplace that is probably affecting oil prices right now. One thing is the strength of the US dollar, which has a tendency to press down oil prices. The other thing is the announcements. There is going to be the OPEC meeting at the end of this month where the OPEC nations are going to attempt to set quotas to prop up oil prices, and there are a couple of participants, particularly Iran, that doesn't seem to want to cooperate too much. Yesterday, we had an increase in the price of oil significantly, I think to the order of about 6%, but we had a kind of a fall off overnight, and we had some gyrations today in anticipation of what the build was going to be from the DOA. And so those are the things that were probably influencing oil prices a bit. But again, we trade based on price action, and so you look for the price action, look for second entries, you look for those places where it appears that things are stacked with you in favor, in your favor as far as pricing is concerned. And I guess the best thing to really talk about is to look at the price of oil is where does the price of oil want to go and how good of a job is it getting there? That comes from market profile. And so we'll talk a little bit about second entries and so forth. Again, for those of you that have seen my other videos, some of this might be somewhat repetitious, but I'll go through it. I'll go through this chart very quickly as far as the trades are concerned. And as I develop the theme and as things come to me, I'll try to flesh it out to kind of go back to square one. So some of this might be somewhat advanced and kind of go from there. Now, what I've done here with these boxes, these are stop boxes. They're 15 ticks. Typically, I look for entry for a price where the ticks where the stop is going to be about 15 ticks, and the first target is going to be at 15 ticks. So that's what this box is. It's just a visual representation. So what I look for is areas where you have pullbacks, two pullbacks back to the EMA or to the existing trend line. Now, what is a trend? A trend is a series of bars that are heading in a specific direction, or prices heading in a specific direction. It's pretty simple to see. And then to draw your line off the major two swings of those bars, and then to just duplicate it and then move it over to the bottom to see if you can create some type of channel. For the overnight, you want to take the first couple of swings and try to see where the best fit is going to be. And for ranges, we're looking at areas where price has visited at least twice. So price has made a new high, came back, pulled back to very close to that new high, if not at that new high. So that would perhaps be your top of your range, and then where it kind of solidifies, it was the bottom of your range. All in the 800 tick chart, remember. And so that's what I've got out here. And if you look back from it, let's take a step back. As you can see, I've got, this is all of today, and you can see that, I've tried to draw in these trend lines, and the challenge, of course, is to do it while it's actually developing. And that is kind of the trick. So hopefully you'll get the hang of it as you hear me discuss what today was like. And if you were obviously trading today or observing the markets, you'll have a better feel for what I'm talking about as we go forward. So this is the overnight. We look at a certain kind of a trend down from the overnight. I've got these drawn in here. This is right here is at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Price started to move around, and you can see that price really hit this bottom. It's about 45.04, just around that area, and it bounced from there and then started moving its way up. So if you draw off the first couple of swings here, bottom and top, you'll see that price is moving its way up until about the open. This is the open right around here. This is 9 o'clock. You can see price is kind of stacking up here just prior to the open, the first half hour, and pulls back, and right here, I've got this marked in green. This is a second entry long off the EMA, off the bottom of this trend channel. So you can see there's a first, price makes a new right here. This is your first entry, pullback, second entry long. Now, people get confused about second entries. You can also count second entries off from the other side. If you look at it from here, here's new low, here's a first entry, here's a second entry short right here. So that's a second entry short, that regular bar right there. It comes back, pulls back in, because this is even the third entry right here. But as I'm saying, the price has really got to this area and it's kind of hitting this resistance. So if you put in your 15 tick, you could have taken this right here as a second entry short. And now, once you get into overlap, this is where it creates a bit of a problem in the 800 tick chart. 1 bar or 2 bars back side by side is overlap. 3 bars side by side is overlap, and certainly a place for you to get out, maybe with a break-even trade. But I won't talk about that right now. That's a little bit more advanced. Well, let's talk about just the second entry. Had you taken the second entry long here, where would your target be? Now, why do I have it marked in green? Because I want to see the target be 15 ticks from your entry point to where the previous high was. And in this particular case, that 15 tick target is quite below this double top. You see this double top right here? It's a little bit below that. So as a result, it's a green trade. Now, as you can see, it did work out more along the lines of the fact that I thought this was going to be a bit of a measured move as well. So here's the move up here. You have the first pullback, failed, second entry long right here, and that there was enough room to get your 15 ticks, even though it didn't quite. You'd like to have it down here. That's why I marked it in green. But as you can see, this move up to here just kind of topped out, and then we had this downturn from this channel. So that is that's one aspect to look at as soon as it hit this top. So that would have been a successful trade had you take a second entry short right on this one. Now, this is a second entry short, second entry long, I mean. This is a second entry short at the top of this where it makes a new high. The challenge is, and why I've got this box here, is that this is just a few minutes before. It's this is in the morning, so we're looking at 9:30. And anytime we have the news day, we're talking about the DOE report. From about 9:30 to 10:30, price can really get stuck in a sideways motion, or it can be very sluggish in anticipation for the report, or it can be very violent and may not adhere to it. So an hour before, 45 minutes before the announcement, you might want to sit on the sidelines, unless, of course, you're an aggressive trader. Now, you can get some good trades, but unfortunately, you have to really move very quickly. For instance, we see here that we had this in this purple no trade zone, let's call it. You have a break of the trend line. It pulls back. It hits a new low, and that looks like a pretty decent setup. You also look at the other side. You look at here's a where you can see this is the first. This is the entry right here, second entry, long. Maybe it's kind of stacked up a little bit, but then we also have a second entry short right here off of the EMA. Again, all this is developing fairly quickly. Now let's take a look at this second entry short right here is right at 1024. Once 1030 rolls around, or very close to it, you can see, look at the violent movement here because it was a build. I think it was like, I can't recall, 2.4 million barrel build, I think, in the overnight, or 5.4 million. I can't remember. It doesn't matter anyways. The point is that as you can see, this gyration here, we have a second entry short. We have a second entry long right here. That's why I marked this in purple. But we see at that 1030 number, it really broke through what you would call a kind of a floor across here. Could you call that a floor? This one, in these areas right here where prices touched down and come back through, you see that it hesitated here and broke all the way down through this area. Now, this is kind of a reversal pattern. Certainly, prices are stacked up. You have a failed second entry short right here that turned into a second entry long. And so this would probably be a good, but we're talking at 1032. This is just 2 minutes past the announcement. Now, had you taken this trade, it really worked out. It really tested these double tops right here. But again, this is kind of like a no trade zone. Aggressive traders, you might participate in something like this, but I don't know, pretty hard. These bars paint very quickly. It's very difficult to get online with those. And so that's something to keep in mind. When you've seen a couple of hundred of weeks of these, you know what around news events and so forth, how volatile the move in crude oil can be. And if you're not on the right side of it or anticipating it, you get wiped out very quickly. I've seen 50, 80, 100 tick swings. And so that will blow right through your stop very quickly. So you can hit your target that easily as well. But do you want to take that chance? later on, and this is right at 10:30, 10:35 or so. So you see this bars from here from 10:32 to 10:32 to 10:38, 5 minutes. You're looking at 6 minutes. This painted all the way back up here. So we had a significant movement from 45, just over 45.08, all the way to 45.70. So we had a 70-cent move in a period of about 5 minutes. And this is just moving up very, very quickly. So when you see pricing stacking up right here at this previous mid-morning high, let's call it, after price turned down and came back up, this is a second entry long right here. Now, it pulls back to the bottom of the trend line. It's close to the EMA. To take a trade like this, you can say that this maybe is a measured move. And if you're watching the market at this point in time, you can see that it was moving up very quickly. And did it have enough momentum after it hit this slight hesitation where the opening price was to move higher? Well, this is the opening price from today. Moved up fairly quickly. So that's kind of where you take this trade. Again, it's more of an aggressive move. As we got later on the day, as price approached this area, we see it kind of starting to stack up here, tried to move a little higher, and right here is a second entry short. I marked it in red only because we're at the high of the day and pricing is really kind of running out of steam. We've got a fairly large magnitude move off the bottom. We've got the lows right here. Let me move my boxes over here. If you look at, you take this trade, your stop is above the previous bar, the signal bar. And if you look at the target, your target is going to be below these areas or above these areas here. And had you got on this trade, it worked out quite well. Now, if it pulls back here and starts stacking up, you might have gotten shaken out of it. But once you're able to establish this trend line, you can see it followed all its way down here. Fairly unbroken, almost like two moves. From here to this area, we have a pullback, first pullback down to here, a second pullback, and from that area, it moves down almost not quite to the tick, but you can see this is, and then started to stack up here. Now, second entry, not a second entry short here, but could you have taken this trade even though it's just a first entry? Well, you might, but again, I didn't mark it because here you have this area of capitulation toward the left side of your chart. Our pricing is, there might be some guys over there still thinking like this is where price is hovering around, or maybe this is going to be a stack up place when you look at the left side of the chart, at least for today. Price moves down fairly rapidly. Second entry long right here. It's breaking the trend channel. It's kind of aggressive. Again, it doesn't make a new low. You like to see that, but I'm looking at this area of capitulation to the left of the chart, so that's a reasonable trade. And again, if it comes back to where these areas are, you can see you get enough room for the 15 ticks if you're to get in, and your stop is below. You can see below this bar here, so 15 tick stop, 15 tick gain. Price makes it up to just this area and then pulls back again. You expect, is there anywhere to get in here? Well, you've got a break. Doesn't go any higher. It's a pretty strong bar, but you're looking at making this is the target. It's really not enough room. Had you taken this trade right here, you would have kind of got shaken out of it, I would think, more than anything else. Didn't like it. Price revisits this area, doesn't get all the way down, revisits the area, stacks up again. I marked this one in purple because this is a second entry. This is a breakout pullback long. Price breaks through, pulls back, attempts to go higher, pulls back, and then this nice bar here, but then it stacks up. So that's why I marked this one. You might get stuck in this. It's not really worth it. There's anything clear sign. So I wanted to talk about this one. Price gets to the top of this channel. This is certainly a second entry short. I marked this one in green because, again, it goes from the standpoint of we had this move up and we had this pullback, one pullback, pulls back down to here. And so where's price? You can see this. It's really like a measured move here and a measured move here. First move, pulls back. Second move. And so it kind of stalled. That's a tough one to take. Again, with this one, second entry long. We're at the top of what I can see a double top channel. Does it have enough momentum to break through? No, it doesn't. And then because you have this failed second entry long, this is the second entry short. So here's a failed second entry long turned into a second entry short. You've got these, you've got resistance at this area. This is the top of the chart. You look at where you would get in with this trade. You stack it up here. It's almost at the top of this channel. But again, there's reasons for this to go short. Now, where's your target? Your target would be right here, if that's where you got in. And you can see that there's enough room to get out. And of course, you rolled this one down. Second entry short here, but marked in purple, whether you take this one because you've got this capitulation to the left. Price gets down to this area. Again, a second entry is this a second? It's a second entry long, but we haven't broken this channel. Now, this is also now a second entry short because here we have a second entry long, failure second entry long right here that turns into a second entry short. See, if we have so price makes a new high. This is the new high here. 1 pulls back, 2 second entry long, second entry first pullback, second entry short, and we had this kind of this where you take that trade or not. I'm not sure about that one. That's why I marked it in purple. Something to keep in mind. That's why I marked these ones in lavender. So there's something to look at. Here's a second entry long. First entry, second entry, but it's away from the EMA. It's away from, and you might recover at least to the EMA, so there's room to get out from that standpoint, but you're still in this channel. Will it pull back to the other side? It does, it breaks through, and as you can see, we went into this reversal pattern, and then from there, price went back and tested the other side of this channel. And that's pretty much it for the end of the day. So those are kind of some of the trades. Today was kind of like, again, we had that major turnaround. So we had that major turnaround. Price came back up. So that's it. I hope that makes sense to you. I know I'm a little bit rusty from not doing this for a while. A little bit, really a lot rusty. So hopefully this will get better as I go forward. That's it. Have any questions? Let me know. This is Vance. Bye for now.